Welcome. You got Matt and Alecia here, live with Matt and Alecia, where we talk about business and marriage. Today, we're coming to you guys to talk to you about the realities of starting a business. Now, everyone, it's kind of like glorified. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone wants to know what's going on, live the lifestyle, live the dream, start their own business and get out there, right? But what are some of the realities behind it? What's going on? If you have a significant other, what are some of the issues that you're going to deal with daily in and out of the business and things like that. So that's where we're coming to you, talk to you guys today about that. It's kind of started off, Alecia, what are some of the harsh realities that we first saw?
Well, I think it's kind of twofold. So there's the first starting out, and there's like the honeymoon stage where you're really excited and all of that stuff. Everything's going the way you want it to. You're like starting to like set this journey, this dream. You're starting to do something about it. And then the honeymoon phase like sort of ends. You're still excited about it, but it's like having a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you're up all night and you're like trying to keep this thing alive, and it takes all of your energy and all of your thoughts and all of anything that you can provide. It will take it and ask for more. So yeah. I think, go ahead.
Yeah, because I mean, when you start a business and you got this thing going, and like Alecia said, it's like a little baby, little infant that you gotta, care for it, nurture it, grow it. And if you don't, what happens? Like, there's no one coming in to save you or it. So you are the only one who makes it work. Right. So you make it work or you make it not work. If you're not producing, that's up to you, and that's your decision, that's your agreement, that's your reality with your business, and you've chosen that. So you need to, get on the flip side of that and make sure it works. So some of the other stuff, you're going to run into things that you think may work for your company. What are some examples of, with real estate? So we're in real estate. Precision Home Group is our company here.
And also in marketing.
And so, some of the stuff that we started doing, realized, well, this isn't working.
That's a really, really good point, Matt, because sometimes you have this idea of what it looks like in your head, and then you do it in practice, and that's two different things. Like you think, I really, really love this idea, and then you started it and you're like, this doesn't align with any of my goals at all. So you really need to be able to, stick to it when it's worth it, but then also know when something isn't working and just drop it like it's hot. That's what you gotta do.
Drop it like it's hot, right? Yeah. But with that being said, you don't want to be jumping from item to item to item, different vehicles for your business, different ideas for your business, right? There's something to be said about choosing one, sticking to it, and making it work, putting the right amount of action and energy into that until you prove it works, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So just some of the struggles of starting something out, there's definitely some interpersonal relationship things that go on when you start a business. And I love to talk to, this show here is about business and marriage. So when we started our business, long hours away from each other in the office late at night, we're both working on different aspects of the business.
Right.
And so a lot of times we would take that home with us because we like to live, one life, not just a home life and then a business life where we're different people. Like we want one life, one marriage, and one relationship, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think that sometimes you just need to learn how to shut it off, and that way you can enjoy each other's company when you're like spending time with each other all day, and then also able to, spend quality time. That's not, I'm talking about work because we have these 30 things that need to happen by tomorrow.
Yeah.
So just kind of putting parameters on when is work time and when you need to turn it off.
And we got a question here, so thank you for that. I really appreciate that. From CJ Turner, do you both share responsibilities, or do you have defined job roles?
Yeah, we actually had a different episode where we talked about that specifically. We do have defined job roles, although if Matt needs to help with something, and then of course, like, I'll do it, or if I need help with something, of course Matt will help. So we have very specific roles. So Matt is on one side of things and I'm on the other. That way it keeps things clear, and we're just kind of streamlining things. I don't have to go to Matt and say, oh, well, do I do this or do you do that? Or do you do this or do I do that? So we have it just kind of like set in stone and just go from there.
Yeah, and I think what that comes down to is having faith, having trust, and having that open and honest, relationship, but just business relationship. And what I mean by that is, if I couldn't release a job to Alecia, if Alecia is taking on a job, a post, something that she's doing, and I have to get inside and correct or change something like that,
right?
You would never get anything done.
Right. So
and I wouldn't either.
There's also the idea of like micromanaging each other, so we've gotten, we don't have to do that because we know who does what. And so when it comes to, say, branding, like I would be the final to say on that particular topic. But when it comes to, say, sales tactics, that would be a Matt thing. That's not my department. So.
And that goes into scaling. So once once you have that business model, you've proven it, you have systems in place, that's when you can start scaling, right? And having, me having a hand in a little hand in each role doesn't necessarily make sense, and it's not necessarily scalable. So what we do is we identify, hey, what are all the different positions, all the different branches of our company?
Departments.
What are the different departments? Good nomenclature there. And then once we've identified all of those, who is going to be in charge of all of those different branches? Well, right now it's Alecia, myself. We do have an assistant, so we have somebody taking on some of that stuff. But until those roles are hired out, we each have to take on all of those roles.
Right. So I think there's this kind of dynamic between bootstrapping it and scalability, because those are two different things.
Exactly.
When you're bootstrapping, you stay up until like 3 a.m. trying to get that thing done, and you are your own marketer, and you are your own salesperson, and you do your own taxes and all of these other things. But when you're trying to make it to the next level, you need to really identify, is this something that someone else can do for like $10 an hour, and is my time more than $10 an hour? Because if it is, then you should delegate that, and because you can be working on your business instead of in it.
Exactly. And one of the things that we're big about, and I like your opinion on this as well, Alecia, is one of the things that we feel really strong about is before we pass a task off, we want to make sure that we know that task, we know that role, that position, what the job details. We want to be able to master that role before we can have hire someone to do it.
Absolutely. So I think that there's two sides to that topic. I think one end is like, if you lose that person, how do you train the next person? So you're like, I lost my assistant, she did everything, and I don't know how to do any of it. Then you just got to start over. Whereas the other side of it would be like, so
so that is one side of it, is making sure that you can replace that person, train them up, and they have the role in place. They know the job responsibilities, and they have a spelled out list of things to do for that job. Now, if go ahead.
I was just going to say, the other side of that coin is that that if you don't know anything about, say, marketing, and you haven't done any of that stuff, you can't really talk to people who have done things in that area, and you also won't know how much it costs, because they could say, I'm going to build you a website for $100,000, and you're like, you don't know anything about websites. You're like, that's a great idea, build me that website. Whereas when you have a little bit of the idea of the functions of whatever that task is, it'll just give you a lot more breathing room to move forward.
Exactly. So when it comes back to managing those organizations, those groups, those areas of your business that you have hired out, what the expectation is, that you've mastered that, and what they are capable of. So if they aren't living up to that, then you have a level that you can compare them to because you've been in those shoes. So that's how we are scaling out our business, and how we are taking on different roles in our business, and then start hiring them out. What are some other things with hiring those different roles?
Well, obviously your hiring process, it needs to be like succinct and specific, and you need to have, you don't want to wait till you need a marketing person 5 years ago, and then you just hire anyone because you need them now. You want to think ahead. You want to know what your next hire is. You need to know like what their skill set is, and just make sure that you are really investing in your company culture, because you want to make sure that you don't hire a bunch of people and then realize at the end of the day, you're like, I don't like any of them. They don't do a good job, and I don't like being around them, because you're going to be around people in your company for a long time. Obviously, there's a lot of hiring like legalities that go along with it, but you just want to make sure that it's contributing to what you're creating.
Yeah, for sure. We have another comment here from Lindsay Schramm. Hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Good planning makes good implementation, makes great business. So true. 100% agree with that. You know, you need to have the plan in place. If you don't have a plan in place, then where are you going? You don't have a roadmap, and you're kind of just flailing about, you know, not knowing where you're going. You're just letting life happen to you. At that point, you are the effect. You're not the change. You know, the goal of the business is to be the change and then have the effect happen, right? That's what we want to do. That's how you grow. That's how you scale. And that's how you stay profitable. But if you're just being the effect and letting your environment and clients and people change you, then you're never going to get to that level, right? So great points. I love it, Lindsay. Thank you for commenting. And thank you for everybody watching. We really appreciate it. We want to bring you guys some really good knowledge. I want to, you know, just share our marriage and our business with you. That is our goal. We want to be here for you. And if you have any questions or comments or would like any information on any topics, then make sure you send it in, comment, and send us you know, you can send me an email, Matthew@Precision Home Group. Where can I find you?
Alecia@Precision Home Group and AleciaLindsay.com, and we're also at PrecisionHomeGroup.com.
That's right. So, hey, before we let you guys go, we have an exciting event happening here in Anchorage on February 11th, and I'd love to talk to you guys about this. It is called Operation Reborn, and what it is, you can go to my personal page and see a flyer, get more information on it. But what it is it's an event we're putting on here in Anchorage to help the homeless and needy community here in Anchorage. And what it is we're bringing people together. We're gonna feed them. So we're gonna make sure that they're full. So the homeless community, people that are struggling, we're gonna make sure that they can have a solid meal. So first and foremost, because it's hard to do things, it's hard to do life, hard to, you know, make a living when all you're doing is trying to survive and looking for your next food.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're gonna one, feed them, and then number two, we've teamed up with Hair Science, which is a barbershop here in town. Sean Idam's done an amazing job with that shop here in town, corner of 15th and C. And so we're gonna feed them, then we're gonna send them into the barbershop, and they're gonna get cleaned up. They're gonna get haircuts. They're, you know, maybe they need to touch up maybe a beard. But we're going to clean them, we're going to groom them, make them feel 100%. Because if you can take a person, you can fill them with food, you can change their appearance for the better, they're just going to get their, you know, confidence back. They're going to feel empowered, right?
So one thing I'm really excited about for this particular event is they're not just feeding and clothing people and heading them out the door. They want to equip people for the future to like become you know, get back on their feet again. So you told me about that.
So that's that third part. And that third part is while we have them eating, while we have them at the barbershop, and while they're waiting around, we're going to be implementing sales training, professional skills. We're also going to be, you know, helping them with resumes. And our end goal here is actually to turn this into a job fair. So right now, we have about 4 or 5 local businesses putting this event on. And we have commitments from more local businesses here in Anchorage who are willing to hire these people should they choose to pursue that. And so what we want to do is we want to empower the homeless. We want to empower these people who are downtrodden. We want to give them the skills and training necessary, sales training, professional skills, resume building, all this kind of stuff. And we're going to give that to them to help them grow and help them support themselves, maybe their families, and help give them a job and purpose back. So that is what Operation Reborn is. It's February 11th here in Anchorage, corner of 15th and C, from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We're going to have food, barbers, and we're going to just have tons of job training, sales training and stuff like that. So we're here to empower them and get them back into the workforce. So if there's anything that you can do to help support us, the first thing is promote. Help us promote this. There's a flyer on my page. Go share it. I would love to see that all over Anchorage. We have it in different shelters. We have it in food banks. We have it in places like that. But if we can get this around Anchorage, shared, even in the Valley and stuff like that, we would love for you to help promote this. So it'd be great to get the event just shared out there.
Absolutely.
You have anything else on the event?
Just help us support it. That's all we ask.
Sounds great. Well, don't forget to go to my personal page, check out the event flyer, and share that. For now, you guys have a great rest of the day, good weekend, and I can't wait to see you back here next Friday about the same time for the next episode of Live with Matt and Alecia talking about business and marriage. Have a great day.
Bye.